Okay, so I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, about cognitive dissonance and what it means. I was watching, like, a lot of, seminars and stuff like that. I watch people talk about cognitive dissonance. And, not seminars, whatever, talks or whatever you call them, like this, where they're talking. But, so I just thought to myself, like, what if, because they say, like, cognitive dissonance, right? They say that it's the act of, doing something that's against your beliefs or whatnot, right? Just to sum it up, so I don't have to ask Google right now. And basically the study was saying that people are doing things because, for incentive, also to, like, they would do stuff that they wouldn't normally do that's against their better judgment, against their morale, for money, for the incentive of getting money. But some people wouldn't do it because they felt like the money wasn't enough, maybe. Or maybe was it because that they just weren't those kind of people. So, in essence, if cognitive dissonance is doing something against your better judgment, against the thing inside of you, they said that some people it hurted them to do the things that they were doing, even though they didn't want to do it, and they were still doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like me smoking cigarettes. I smoke cigarettes. Even though I know that it's bad for you and I know that I could die early from smoking cigarettes, I still do it. And it's like you do that, and I feel like that the cognitive, the dissonance, that part of it, like that whole cognitive dissonance, that could be like almost like your inner, divinity, like the divine inside of you. And I don't want to say God because I don't associate it like that with, I don't associate it like that with God, like, not yet, at least, I haven't read enough of the Bible to do that. And so, I look like shit. And so, let's do this. And so, filter boy, no, I'm just playing, I'll put it regular. And so, cognitive dissonance could be basically like the battle between the good and the bad, you know what I'm saying, inside of you, like the devil and the angel on your shoulder, so to speak, like if there's something that's telling you to do something, that there's something that allows you, or that you're doing, that's allowing yourself to do something that is wrong. It's wrong. It hurts you to do it. It's wrong. You feel bad and shameful after you do it, even. It's wrong inside of you. Maybe that's the God inside of you that's telling you, that's the God that's speaking to you inside of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's that. Because to me, I feel like we all are born with a connection with God, whatever you want to call it. And I feel like we all, in my opinion, I feel like we all are connected, and that we're connected through frequencies and stuff like that, and and we're all energy, and energy is all connected, and we're all come to this space, all this space and outer space and all that. That's, to me, I feel like that's God. Outer space and all that, that's God to me. I feel like that's God. That unknown, that's God. And I feel like that part of inside of you, that connection that you have, and that's a good. That God, that's a constant energy that's feeding everything in the universe. You know what I'm saying? That space is the energy that's feeding the universe, that feeds every life form, alien, whatever, on in the whole entire galaxies and universe, or whatever word you want to take it, everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, space rules all, because space covers everything. And in essence, if I, to further elaborate on my perspective of God and stuff like that, I feel like the stars are, like the frequencies. You know what I'm saying? Like all the stars and all the lights and stuff like that. And the sun is beaming so hard. That's why we love the sun and we're attracted to the sun, because it's our biggest star and it's our biggest connection with God, with space. You know what I'm saying? And it keeps us alive. And I feel like these stars are our frequencies, and these stars reach out to us. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we're always staring up at the stars, because we're connected to the stars. Like, does that make sense? Are you guys with me here? Go smoke a joint and then come back. No, I'm just playing. But anyways, for real though, like, that's my right now, like, that's part of my, I'm literally like writing a book about this shit. Like, no joke. You guys might think it sounds funny, but anyone can write a book, you guys. Write a book about what you think. You know, so I am soon to come. You know, it might even take a year for me to finish this shit, but I'm writing. Now, just to get back on subject, so I elaborated further on my perspective of what God is, and I feel like God is inside of everybody, and God is connected to everybody, you know, and that's my perspective on what God is. God is space. There's the police. God is outer space. All that is outer space is God. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's God to me. Like, in my opinion. Like, and I don't see how that, like, logically that could make sense. You guys are always talking about people that believe in actual God say that God lives in heaven and out. So I could be, like, on the right track here. You don't know. You know what I'm saying? We could have some common, you know, understanding about this God thing, you know? Like, I might even believe in a heaven. Like, not the heaven that you believe in, but I do believe that out there is where your energy disperses. And then it recycles back into something else. And those stars transfer that energy back into another life form. And I feel like energy is just recycled. And I feel like if you do bad, and that energy inside of you, like that energy, that God-given energy that makes you, that gives you life, that gives you life. You know what I'm saying? Not that created you. Because I feel like that God didn't create you. God put things into play so that you can be created, so that we can create. You know what I'm saying? He gave us a godly gift to create, us women. And then along with that, he gave us the men, and we need men to do that, okay? So women, you know, next to godly, because we are creators, you know, and I do believe that God creates, and I do believe that the outer space keeps all this shit possible. Outer space, it makes sense, you guys. If you really, like, if you want to try to walk with me and really try to understand my logic, it does have a little logic to it. Like, if you want to compare the two things. Outer space, they say, you know, space and everything, the sun and everything connected, keeps everything rotating, and this is why we can function the way we do, and why we have all of our seasons and all that. So if all that's in sync together, you think that's just a coincidence that everything is where it is just for coincidence? Like, it just coincidentally, just randomly is just there in the right spot? It's not a coincidence, it's on purpose. There's no such thing as coincidence, because coincidence says that it's not connected, that it's just a coincidence. Coincidence is a label that takes away from the reality of a connection. That's another connecting words. I'm going to put that on my list of words that disconnect humanity. Coincidence. Coincidence, there's no such thing as a coincidence, because it's connected. So connection is a connection, and there's no coincidence in connection. A connection was a connection that was meant to, that's always been a connector. It's always been connected. Maybe it might have came apart, like, you know, but it comes back. You know what I'm saying? It's all connected in the circle of life. Everything goes together, the circle of life. There's some truth behind that. There's a circle of life. I believe that we are here on this planet, and we are here for a purpose, and that is to be, we are energy, right? We're energy on this planet, and our energy is meant to be connected to everybody and everything, and to keep everything strong. And we're not meant to, like, tear down the planet. We're meant to take care of the planet. I mean, this is my opinion and perspective. I believe that we are, like, our, like, sole purpose, right? If you want to say, our sole purpose is to be good and to give and to nurture this planet, and not to worry about things and possessions and stuff like that. Like, I truly honestly believe that if we let go of possessions, you know what I'm saying? Like, possessions, like superficial things like cars, keys, phones, you know, what do we really need to possess? Like, that's just ours. Clothes, maybe? And do we really need an outfit for every day of the week? Is that logical? Does that make sense? Like, do we logically, like do studies? Like, is it proven that we need a new change of clothes every day? Like, do you guys honestly, like, back in the day, they wasn't changing their clothes every day. You think they was changing their clothes every day? I highly doubt it. I mean, if we had washers and dryers in this world, not half of you would be changing your clothes every day, because you're lazy and you wouldn't be able to wash your clothes and you wouldn't want to change it. But anyways, that's besides the point. The point is that we have something inside of us, right? That tells us, and I believe that every single human being, and this is your soul that's born inside of you, that this is your God-given soul. This is your connection to God. This is what speaks to you. This is what they mean when they say God speaks to you. It may not be God directly, but in a sense, it could be God speaking to you. It's the peace of God that God, like, okay, think about it like this. So, remember that movie with the iron robot that the little boy found him and he put that little thing inside of him? And it made the robot come back to life, or like Astro Boy, and they put the little thing in him and it made it come back to life. There's a lot of movies like that, you guys, that where they put the soul in them and they come to life. You know what I'm saying? And they're good. They're usually good, you know? And so it's like, to me, I feel like that's almost like God put that inside of you. Like, he put your soul inside of you. He put you, not he, I say he because I'm just grown up and accustomed to saying he, but in actuality, I don't think God is a he. I don't think God is a he or a she. I feel like God is a more of a being, just a state of being. God is just like, it's just God. And like, God is just there, and there's like no question about it. Like, God just exists because God exists. And like, there's no reason to define or to paint a picture of what God would look like or what sex he would be. Like, you don't label God because God is everything. Like, I don't feel like you can label God. Like, I don't feel like there's a word for God. Like, and when I say God just to elaborate and just to so you can understand what I'm referencing to when I speak about it, because I don't believe that you can label something so. And it's crazy because people, they put so much emphasis and like so much, they put him on such a high pedestal and they give him so much glory and just so much all this, but then at the same time you take away from all of that by just bringing it down to a word. Like, label something that is supposed to be so amazing and so beautiful. It's like the word love. How do you label the word love? You can't label love. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not a label. Like, there's no word for that to define that. And most certainly not in the English language, you know? And like, to label something as extravagant and as absurd and as amazing and like abundant and just mystical and divine and mysterious and, you know, all that, to label something that's all that, just to bring that down to a one word, God. Like, please now, that I can't bring myself to do that. Like, I can't identify with that. Okay, I cannot identify with that because I feel like it is that's just taken away from what I really truly feel like God is. You know what I'm saying? I feel like God is way bigger than that. And like, I don't feel like God is somebody that I just gonna run to and pray to every time that something goes wrong or every time that I'm lost. I feel like God is something that's already inside of me. And every time that I did something wrong and every time that I'm lost and all that God is that thing that's speaking inside of you that tells you when you did something wrong. God is that thing that tells you don't do that. God is that thing that makes you cry when you see these fucking atrocities and shit on the TV. We are a part, in essence, I don't think we are actually God. Okay, we are not God. But in essence, we are, because we are a piece of God. Like, we are energy from that space. That piece of outer space, think of outer space as God when I'm talking. That's God. So outer space, put a face on it if you need to. That's God, okay? The stars, think about that as angels, okay? Those are the angels, okay? So put a label on that. There's angels. Those are the stars to me, okay? And outer space is God. So we got the angels and we got God. These angels come down and they talk to us. And sometimes, you know, they can transfer energy into people probably. Most, I don't know, shit, who knows? And make people strong and come closer to God. You know, there might be people that are closer to God, because I mean, I'm pretty sure with fucking meditation and all that shit, you become in tune with the world and all the frequencies, and I'm sure you can like really become in tune and like really, you know, elevate, you know. And it's like, I feel like that cognitive dissonance has, you know, I was just thinking about this. Like, I really haven't put a whole lot of thought into cognitive dissonance. As much as thought as I put into it is like, where is there cognitive dissonance in my life? You know what I'm saying? That's what I've been working on right now. Like, what am I doing? Like, what do I do? I'm more of on a self, accountability mode. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to make sure that I'm accountable for the things that I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Because I have strong feelings and beliefs and opinions about a lot of things. So I want to make sure that I'm aware of the things that I'm doing. Wrong and right. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody is perfect. It's impossible in the world, because the perfect doesn't exist. It's another label. That's a word. It's impossible. There's no possible way to be that, because that does not exist. It's a perception based on superficial ideals and social beliefs. It has nothing to do with reality. Perfection is non-existent. And if I was to think even that perfection did exist, I would think that perfection would be us in line and on the same frequency with God, outer space, like energy, everything around us. And I feel like we're not just us. Like, we aren't the only ones that are godly given creatures. Like, God has given himself energy, and I say him in the sense so you can understand what I'm talking about. But God, this energy has given itself to every life form on this planet, given life to everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, anything that moves, breathes, every freaking atom, every freaking particle, like all these atoms and molecules and all that stuff, that's like all parts of God just flowing around you. It's just that's why they say God is all around you, because this air that we're breathing in, this is God. You know what I'm saying? That's God. Everything, all the things that makes up your structure, you know what I'm saying? That's God. And it's always all around us. And I feel like we are trying so hard to find something that's not there. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're trying so hard to strive and achieve something that we just forgot what we're trying to achieve. Like, what are we really doing, humanity? Like, what is our main goal in life? What is our main goal? And what should be our main goal? What is the primary goal? What do you need to thrive and to continue life? For life to continue to go on. Do we honestly, truly need any of these things that we, like, do I need any of this shit that I have? No, I don't need none of it. This is all superficial things that we were born and raised and predisposed through generations and, taught and conformed, idealized, ideologies and all this shit and implanted into us and, brainwashed to think that this is life. And it's really, truly not life. And when people like me really talk about stuff like this, and I try to tell people about shit like this, a lot of people, they ain't going to come down here with me and feel me. They ain't going to try to understand this. And I don't even want to put myself, I don't even want to say that I'm highly more intelligent than anybody, because I feel like everybody, I was just watching a seminar, a brain surgeon talking about some real shit. Like, everybody, they say that we don't use every part of our brain. No, it's not that we don't use every part of our brain. It's that we don't actively practice things that make every part of our brain exercise. We're in modes, right? We see tunnel vision. From the moment that you could you're 10 years old to you, all you think is that in life, your goal in life, your purpose in life is to get paid, put a roof over your head so you could get paid so you can put a roof over your head, buy things, get paid so you can buy things and put a roof over your head, get rich, become famous. What are our goals? We don't have goals. These have no substance. Like, we don't need, like, these bad energy, and this is where the devil comes into play. There's bad energy. There's always a negative with a positive. It's a balance, and this is where the balance of life comes. There always has to be a balance. And the devil is the bad energy. It's that bad energy that wants to suck like a black hole. You can reference devil to the black hole in outer space. God is around outer space, and the devil is them black holes that's just sucking the energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're trying to suck everything out. And the black hole is, no one knows where it goes. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the black hole. That's hell. You don't want to go there, because that's the black hole. And when you are on this planet, if you do not do your soul purpose, and I feel like our soul purpose is to connect to connect with each other and to connect with life. Have you guys seen that movie Avatar? Like, I truly, like, on some real shit, though, you might think this sounds retarded and crazy, but I really, truly believe that that's how the fuck we supposed to be living in this motherfucker. We are supposed to be like, hey, you know, connecting with the motherfucking trees and the animals and the plants and the fucking spirits and our ancestors. We could talk to our ancestors. Hell yeah, we could do that shit, like, through energy. Like they said with Awa. What was Awa? They didn't say Awa was a person. Awa was a fucking god, like what my perspective of God would be. Awa was not a person. Awa was a ideal, just a common knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a understanding. That was Awa. It was like just like a thing. Like, you just knew. You know what I'm saying? It was just like understanding. That's the best way. I need to get in my freaking thesaurus. I need to slow down because I'm getting carried away. Because, you see, I am so passionate about these things. Like, these things really are interesting to me and they matter to me, and I think that they're important, and I want people to be interested in these things. Like, truly, I want people to be interested. And, like, I'm trying to find a way to create a dialogue where people will continue that dialogue. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want people to talk about these things. Like, even if it's negative, I don't care. Just talk about it. Like, these are things that you should really care about. After a while, you're going to become interested. It's in your it's human nature for you to be intelligent. It is natural. We naturally are intelligent, highly intelligent. We suppress our intelligence with all this crap, sugars, chemicals everywhere. Like, we can't even connect. Like, we live inside of houses 365 days a year. We barely have sun that comes in through the windows. Like, how are we living? You know what I'm saying? Like, why do we need to be in the shade all the time? You know, like, why can't we just go out and embrace things? Like, why do we need to be in the house watching TV? You know, like, the TV is the worst creation ever. Worse. One of the worst creations ever, besides the value of things. That was the first most worst. I mean, that was the most above all worst thing that happened for humanity. The value of items. Creating value on items. Items other than skills. Now, you see, back in the day, they did have value on things, but these were skills. Things like, they didn't charge you cash for this shit. You know what I'm saying? Then, like, look, you give me a goat, I'll make you a warm blanket for your family. I'll kill, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, like, this was give and take. Like, I killed the goat, I provide the meat, you provide the fucking warmth. Like, this is how we should be living. Anyways, I gotta take my kid to school. Until next time.